Hi, so today we're looking at the craft of paper quilling. Now, paper quilling essentially is taking strips of paper, usually this length, about 450 millimeters, and we use a little quilling tool, which is this black thing here, and we form the paper into these shapes that you can see in front of me. Today we're going to be using 4 shapes. We will have the tight coil, a loose coil of 2 different sizes, we'll form the teardrop, and we'll form the eye or the marquise, and I'll show you how we do that. The equipment for quilling is very simple. We have our paper, of course, our quilling tool. We would have some PVA glue and a very technical thing here, a cocktail stick. So all of this will be in the kit, which you should have by now. The quilling tool is worth a little look. If we look very carefully at it, you'll see that the piece at the top is slotted, and that is deliberately made, obviously, to accept the paper. So the first thing to do is to push the paper into the slot on the quilling tool. Don't grip the paper too tightly, but begin to wind the paper onto your quilling tool. Again, not too tight, and you keep winding. Light grip between the finger and thumb of your left hand, and lightly twisting the quilling tool in your right hand. Now, at this stage, I go to that position, and you should see, I hope, that the paper is between my finger and my first 2 fingers, and they're holding the paper steady, and I just keep twisting the quilling tool until all of the paper is gathered up. Now, that can be quite tricky to get at first. Don't worry about it, just persevere and you'll get there. We obviously need to bring the tool off the paper, or paper off the tool. Don't just pull it hard or you'll finish up with a spiral of paper. If you twist the tool very gently and pull away at the same time, they will separate and you're left then with your tight coil. We want to glue that little end of paper onto the bulk of the coil, and this is where the cocktail stick and the PVA glue come in. The least amount of glue is required, and we're literally looking at that very tiny amount. Pop it onto the end of the paper and set and press that onto the coil, and we hold it there for a few seconds, and it is only a few seconds required, and then when we set it down, that should hold, and there's your first tight coil. So practice away at that. The second one we want to make then is a loose coil. Again, we take a piece of paper, we'll pick a different color this time, and in the same fashion we'll wind the paper onto the quilling tool. So again, not too much tension, not too much pressure, and just gently wind the paper on. Again, I'll take that position where I'm resting the paper between my thumb and my first 2 fingers. I keep on winding the paper onto the quilling tool until it's all there. Again, then we want to bring the paper from the tool very gently, rocking the tool backwards and forwards. Pull gently to one side, it'll separate. And now very important, before you glue the paper, just set the coil down on the table and let it unravel a bit. We finish up then with our little open coil. Again, a very, very tiny drop of glue onto the end of the paper, and we just push that down, hold it very gently, again just a few seconds, and there we have our loose coil. Okay, we might want a loose coil of a different size, so let's take another piece of paper again, and it's very, very simple to make different size coils. We just maybe take half of a length of paper. Again, we'll twist that onto the quilling tool. I'm just going to speed up this time, but do take your time until you're very comfortable with it. So we take that onto the tool, separate tool from paper again quite gently, and if we set it down, it'll unroll. And then tiny, tiny, tiny piece of glue onto the paper, and we hold it again. It is a good idea when you're quilling, by the way, to have a baby wipe or a wet wipe handy, just in case you get glue onto your fingers, which would quickly transfer the paper and make a bit of a mess. So there we have 2 open coils of different sizes. Now, we'll move on a little further because I want to make the teardrop and the marquise, and they're made initially in exactly the same way. So let's take another piece of paper. It doesn't matter what colour of paper I'm using at this stage, it's just to demonstrate the process. So I'm going to make firstly the teardrop. So again, we're putting the paper, quilling the paper, twisting the paper with the tool until it's all gathered up. And you will get as fast as this with a bit of practice, trust me you will, but take your time at the start. So we're wanting to make an open coil, so no glue just yet. We set it on the table, let it unravel, and a little spot of glue again onto the end. And we glue that on a few seconds to hold it. Now, with my finger and thumb in that position, my other finger and thumb at the top, I squeeze gently with one hand until I'm getting that teardrop or that pear shape. And there we have a teardrop, just slightly bigger than the other one. That's because I allowed the coil to open up a bit. If we wanted the marquise, in other words a point at either end, we simply squeeze it like so. So we have a point at each end, and there is the marquise or the eye. So those are the basic shapes that we want to work on. So practice and practice and practice at that. And then we really want to have made something to take away with you, as they would say. So what I've got here is a piece of card. I've wrapped it with cling film. You'll get the card with your pack, and I'm sure you've got cling film in the kitchen. You will want to make 6 tight coils, 6 loose coils, which are made with half a length of paper. You'll want to make 6 eyes with a full length of paper and 6 teardrops, and then just finally 1 slightly bigger loose coil. So that loose coil is half a length, that's a full length, and these are full lengths. And 6 of each of those and 1 of those. And what we're going to do is make that up into this sort of shape. Now, I'll not make it here today, I'll let you play with that at home, but you'll see that here we have the loose coils, 6 round the outside, 6 tight coils in the middle, 1 bigger tight coil right in the centre, 6 marquise and 6 teardrops, and that will make that lovely little star. Now, the reason that the cling film is here, you'll want to form that so that you'll be able to lift it off and maybe hang it up somewhere. And the idea is to glue this down onto the cling film, and the beauty of that is then when the glue is dry and you come to want to remove it, the glue will peel off and separate from the cling film quite easily. So again, I'll not do all of those, but to give you the idea. And just finally, this is what we're wanting to do to finish off the nice star. Thank you very much for listening. Enjoy quilling.